I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. Darling, you look perfect tonight. I found a woman stronger than anyone I know. She shares my dreams. I hope that someday I'll share her home. I found a love to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. I know we'll be alright this time. Darling, just hold my hand, be my girl, I'll be your man. I see my future in your eyes. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When I saw you in that dress, looking so beautiful, I don't deserve this. Darling, you look perfect tonight. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. I have faith in what I see. Now I know I have met an angel in person, and she looks perfect. I don't deserve this. You look perfect tonight. Hey guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how to play Perfect by Ed Sheeran from his new album Divide. It's in standard tuning and uses 4 really simple chords. They're going to be G, E minor, C, and D. And it's also going to be in a 6/8 count, which means there are going to be 6 beats per measure. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So keep that in mind instead of doing the 1, 2, 3, 4 that you're probably used to for most songs. So we're going to start with the verse, and we're going to start with the G chord in the verse. That's going to be the 3rd fret of the low E string and the 3rd fret of the B string, and you're going to leave the G string open. And I also want you to keep in mind for each of these chords, you're going to be playing the bass note and the G and the B string at the same time for each of the first counts. So what I mean by that is this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you don't play the bass note on every first count. So again, with that G chord, you're going to play like E, B, and G at the same time. And then you're going to pluck the open G and the 3rd fret of the B string 5 more times after that for the rest of the counts. And then you're going to do it one more time. So again, on the first count, you're going to pluck the bass note, 3rd fret, low E, and then you're going to pluck the G and the B string 2 times, and then you're going to switch it up a little bit. So on the next count, you're going to move your index finger to the 2nd fret of the low E string, and you're going to pluck that at the same time as the B and G. So it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a quick switch, but that's the only time you're going to have to do that. Next chord we're going to go to is the E minor, in this case 2nd fret A, 2nd fret D, and then the rest are open. Now in all actuality, you don't have to put your fingers there since you're only playing the E, B, and G strings, which are all open. But I like to leave my fingers there in case I accidentally hit the A or the D string. But it's going to be the same count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember your bass note is on the first count of each one of these measures. Next chord up is going to be the C chord, and that's going to be the 3rd fret A, 2nd fret D, open G, 1st fret B, and in this case the 3rd fret of the A string is going to be your bass note. Now if you notice in the cover I do a hammer-on. I'm not actually plucking that D string to do the hammer-on. All I'm doing is plucking the 3rd fret A, open G, 1st fret B, but when I do it, I use my middle finger to hammer onto that 2nd fret of the D string. You don't have to do it, but I like to. Just adds a little more depth to it. So again, same count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the last chord you're going to use is the D major chord, so that's open D, 2nd fret G, 3rd fret B, and 2nd fret high E string. And this one is just a little bit different. You're still going to use the open D as your bass note, but instead of plucking the G and B strings, you're going to pluck the B and high E strings instead. So bass note, B, high E. And again, you go for those 6 counts. So I'm going to play it all together. Keep up if you can. So the reason I played that twice is so I could also show you the ending of the verse just before going into the hook. The second time you play that full progression and you're on that D chord again, you're going to play the first measure or the first 6 counts the same way you did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But on the next one count, you're just going to pluck those 3 strings again, but you're going to use your pinky to hammer onto the 3rd fret of the high E string. And then you're just going to let those ring out instead of finishing off the 6 counts. So if we're ending on that D chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you go into the hook. And next up is the hook, and the nice thing about it is that it's played almost exactly like the verse. So I'm going to play it through until the part it switches. So right after that C chord is where the switch happens. Normally in the verse you would go to the D chord, but in this case, in the hook, you're actually going to go back to a G, and you're going to do one measure of the G chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're going to go to the D chord. So just in instead of going right to the D chord and playing 2 measures of that, you're going to go to the G, and then to the D. And then you're going to repeat the next part just like you did the verse. The only difference is at the very end, instead of just leaving on that hammer-on, you take your pinky off and pluck the B and the E string again on the 2nd fret of the E and 3rd fret of the B. And then you go into the chorus. So again, I hope that made sense. That's the only difference in the hook against the verse. Alright, next part up is going to be the chorus, and the chord progression switches here. You're going to start with the E minor, then go to C, then G, and then D. And you're going to repeat this 4 times. I'm going to play once through, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. So again, it's finger picked. You start with that E minor, so 2nd fret A, 2nd fret D, and you're going to pluck the open low E string, 2nd fret D, open G, open B, open G, open D. So you're basically walking up the strings and then back down. Think Metallica's One song. Then you switch to the C chord, 3rd fret A, 2nd fret D, open G, 1st fret B, and do the same thing, but start with the 3rd fret of the A string. Next up is the G chord, and in this case you're actually going to leave the B string open. So all you need to do is press down on the 3rd fret of the low E string. You're going to pluck 3rd fret, low E, open D, open G, open B, open G, and then open D again. And the last one is going to be a D chord, and again same thing here. Start with the open D, 2nd fret G, 3rd fret B, 2nd fret high E, then back down to the 3rd fret of the B, and then the 2nd fret of the G. So now I'm going to play it all together again a little bit slower. Just remember you're walking up and back down for each of these chords. Now the last part, after you play that 4 times just before he goes back into the verses, you're going to go to a G chord. So after that last D major, you're going to go to a G, and this time you're going to have your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. You're going to pluck the low E on the 3rd fret, open D, open G, 3rd fret B, open G, open D. Then you're going to pluck the 3rd fret of the low E again, open D, open G, and then you're going to strum down and then mute the strings. So it'll sound like this. And then you go into the next verse. Now before I teach you the little mini solo that's in this song, I want to show you what the final chorus, the very end, how it's played. Because it's just a little bit different. You use a C add 9 chord instead of a regular C. But it sounds like this. So I'm going to play like I'm going towards the end of the chorus. I met an angel in person. She looks perfect. I don't deserve this. You look perfect tonight. So normally where you end on that D chord, when he says I don't deserve this, you're going to play a C add 9. And all that is a 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret D, open G, and 3rd fret of the B string. And just like we did in the chorus, you're going to walk up and then back down. that's really all it is. So for that C add 9 chord, you're going to pluck A, D, G, B, G, D, and then repeat. You do that 3 times, and then you switch to the D major chord, and then you're going to pluck that like you normally would. But instead of playing it twice, you're just going to pluck the 3rd fret of the low E string and let it ring out. So again, all together, that last part of the chorus. Now you can learn the solo. I'm going to play the solo real quick and then show you how to do it. It's really short and sweet. It's a very simple solo. There are only 2 parts to it. So I'm going to show you the first part here. You want to start with your index finger on the 5th fret of the A string. You're going to pluck that and use your ring finger to hammer onto the 7th fret. And then you move your index finger to the 5th fret of the D string. And then move your ring finger after that to the 7th fret of the D string. So those 4 notes. Then you're going to pluck the 7th fret of the D string one more time, but when you pluck it, you're going to slide up to the 9th fret. And then you're going to let it ring out for a little bit. From here, you're going to pluck the 9th fret again. This time you're going to slide down to the 7th fret of the D string. And then you're going to take your ring finger off the 7th fret, index finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and you're going to pluck that. So then you're going to pluck the 7th fret of the D string with your ring finger again, and you're going to pluck it one more time, but this time you want to have your middle finger on the 6th fret of the D string as well, and your index finger on the 5th fret of the D string. What you're going to do when you pluck that 7th fret again is pull off to the 6th fret, and then pull off from the 6th fret to the 5th fret. It's really quick. So from here, it's all together so far. So that's the first part of the solo. The second part is going to sound like this. So we're going to start out the same way we did before. Hammer on from the 5th fret of the A string to the 7th fret. Then go 5th fret D, 7th fret D, and then you're going to pluck the 7th fret and slide up to the 9th fret. You let it ring out a little bit again, but this time instead of plucking the 9th and sliding back down, you're just going to go back to the 7th fret of the D string, and then down to the 5th fret. Then you're going to pluck the 7th fret again, then pluck the 7th fret one more time and slide up to the 10th fret of the D string. So then you're going to go to the 9th fret of the D string, down to the 7th fret, down to the 5th fret, and then you're going to hammer on to the 7th fret again. So that's how you play the second part of the solo. So I'm going to play this second half all together. And now the whole solo together. And that's it. Alright guys, that does it for this lesson. Let me know what you think. I filmed the whole thing on my camera, so it's a little bit different angle. Let me know if you guys like it, or if you don't, if I should go back to my regular computer. But as always, leave your requests down below, and tabs are going to be in the description. So I'll see you guys in the next video.